Hello everyone, welcome to BayernNow, the ultimate Bayern Munich fan channel. Now, Kai Havertz is a player that each day, we get more and more strongly linked to him. It looks like we're going to sign Havertz this summer, and if it's not this summer, I feel like there is a genuine idea in the club that we might even sign him next summer. Havertz is a player that I think I've expressed my opinion on, but haven't made a standalone video. So here is the Kai Havertz video. I don't think we need Kai Havertz. I don't know if I'm the only one who feels like this, but I feel like Thomas Muller is a player that, for me, maybe it's because I just see, too much in Muller now, but Thomas Muller is only 30 years old. When you're going to sign Havertz, you're going to have to play him because he's going to cost you a lot of freaking money. Havertz isn't going to be a bench player anywhere. If he's going anywhere, he's going to be a starter. He's going to be the world-class player that you just got who's only 20 years old. Kai Havertz is, as Marco Donia said, he's Germany's Kylian Mbappe. Well, I personally don't think, we need to sign Havertz right now. Thomas Muller is with 18 assists or 16 assists. He's almost breaking De Bruyne's record. And Muller has been on top of his form. He literally is playing better than he has in years. And I don't know if we need Havertz. Look at the players Muller has benched. Coutinho and James Rodriguez. People don't like to admit it, but Thomas Muller benched James Rodriguez. I remember in the 2017, was it 18 season? Where Jupp Heynckes came back. Yes, he came back, and Muller played less minutes than James Rodriguez. I think he did play less minutes. He got more goals and assists than him, and it was just that's what Thomas Muller does. He does that, man. And last season, when Niko Kovac tried to almost replace Muller with James, Muller would come on and give out 2 assists or score a goal, and that's what Muller does. And do you think Kai Havertz is gonna want that? The competition at this club is immense. I think that Muller is gonna bench this kid. Actually, I'm gonna look at Havertz's stats right here. I should add something for stats. I will. He has 11 goals and 7 assists this season, which is a lot, for a young player in 39 appearances. And you know what, Havertz, what would you consider him? I consider him personally a central attacking midfielder. Someone who's in that 10. He's a modern attacking midfielder. He has the pace, the technicality, but also he can play as the second striker. You know what I mean? Almost like a center forward. But the striker is right there, like in FIFA, how you have a 4-4-1-1, and then there's that's he can play in that position where he's making runs off the striker, and he is getting on the end of crosses and getting goals as well, which explains why he has more goals and assists. We've never really had a number 10 if you think about it. All our number 10s have always been like second strikers, or even Goretzka. Now I feel like Goretzka, they're planning to use Goretzka in that 10 role, not as a 10, but, maybe as a pressing 10. Vidal did the same type of job at times, where he'd almost be a pressing 10 for Juventus as well. And I think Havertz can do that, but I don't think we need Kai Havertz. We have Muller. Muller's only 30. You think about it. Thomas Muller, it does not look like he's going to slow down. Muller looks like he's going to be at the top level for at least 3 more years, or 2 to 3 years. And if he's going to be at that level, then how is Havertz going to come in for 100 million? And where's he going to play? Are you going to play him off the right? Because Gnabry and Sané are there. So for me, Havertz is just that sexy signing. It's lingerie. It's not the main thing that you need right now. But if your girl wears it, she's looking nice, you're gonna do the thing. You're gonna do the business. That's what Kai Havertz is. He's just the lingerie. He's something you add on to it to just make it extra sexy, to make the team extra. But where does he play? What are we trying to do with the team? Do we want a 2-striker formation where, where are we going to fit Muller? Because you can't go to Thomas Muller and go, hey, you've been playing superbly this season. We're going to drop you for 100 million worth Kai Havertz. And then why would Muller sign a new contract 3 years if Havertz was coming? I don't know, man. This transfer just doesn't make it that much sense to me, because Muller's, as another thing, he's always fit. So you can't just bank on the fact that Muller gets 5 injuries a season and he's out for half the games and Havertz plays. That's not happening. It's not like Muller's getting injuries. He's literally one of our most fit players. He's always fit. If he picks up an injury, it's usually for a few days and then he's back. And that's the thing with Thomas Muller. He's going to be fit. And another thing, Havertz is worth 100 million. I don't care what we want to pay for him. I don't care about the economic crisis. Unless Bayer Leverkusen are poor, which I don't think they are, because they contributed to the, aid, the 40 million aid from the big clubs to the little clubs. Bayer Leverkusen contributed to that, and they're also, they have a very wealthy owner. I think it's like a company. I don't know. But they're very, very wealthy. So how would they justify giving out one of their best players who they know they can get more money for in maybe a year or two, unless Havertz doesn't sign a new deal? They know they can get the money for him. Even now, they'll probably go, you know what, we're giving you 120 million. If you don't pay that price, you can't have him. He has 3 years left on his contract, so he's not really. And Havertz doesn't look like the type of guy to run down his contract. There was a few sources coming out and saying he does want to sign a new contract and just stay an extra year or two before. Think about it. Where would Havertz go? Liverpool linked to him a lot. Man United, all these teams, even Chelsea, Arsenal are now recently. Arsenal linked to Kai Havertz. Who are they getting? There's a lot of teams that look like they want Kai Havertz. And I think that, he would fit us if Muller wasn't here. If Muller wasn't playing, well, I'd definitely be on the Havertz trade. But Muller, there's no reason to be replacing Thomas Muller right now. For me, I'm more focused on the other positions. Right back, winger. I'm focused on those positions because ultimately that's what we need to focus on. And if we focus on that, and we get a world class, if we spend the money we spend on Havertz on Sané, or not Sané, but we will buy Sané. I don't know if the budget is 300 million. It might be. There's a huge reason to believe because we're linked to players that for me are worth 300 million. So, if we bought a Hakimi or Dest, I don't know whoever it is. The right back position is so important. There's even talks that Bayern are looking to move Pavard to be a backup center back, which I think is a good idea because for me he's a backup, and then buy 2 right backs, which it doesn't make any sense for me. That's just not. You're not gonna just buy 2 right backs, are you? I think Pavard has played average and okay and solid at right back. But obviously, I personally want more. So why would you then take Pavard out if he's been playing okay? You need to buy someone world class to replace him. So the link saying Bayern might move Pavard to be backup center back doesn't make any sense to me because I don't know. Pavard costs us money as well, so there's an incentive to play him. I don't know why he costs us so much, but there's almost an incentive to play him. So for me, unless we focus on the positions, if we buy Sané first day of the transfer window when it's open, then I'm completely satisfied. And then the next day we buy a right back that I want, maybe a Hakimi, even a Ricardo Pereira, Leicester, who might want to come. You never know. If we buy that world-class right back that I personally want and that the fans deserve and that right back position reserves, since Philippe Lam, Kimmich's played there, but Rafinha's played there. We've had so much rotation in that right back position. We just need someone to just stay there. Someone who wants to be a right back, Davies, he's the only player in our squad who, left a different position and actually wants to keep playing the position he's playing now. So, yeah, I don't know. So this Havertz thing, unless it's, another, it's just, like I said, lingerie signing. Unless it's a lingerie signing, you just add it to make it more sexy, even though, the real sexiness isn't really the lingerie. It's the, the actual, that, you know what I mean? So Havertz would just be a little bit of, sauce to add into the soup that's already spiced up. He's just the extra bit of seasoning on that chicken. The chicken's actually the Sanés, the Hakimis, the positions we actually need. And for me, Thomas Muller is doing the job. And Muller isn't really reliant. That's the reason why I believe Muller will be here for another 2 to 3 years at the top world-class level. Think about it. Muller does not rely on his over-blessing in pace. He's not blessed with pace. Thanks. You just decide to ride a damn bike when I'm doing this. Why is he still riding? Why are you riding a bike in the neighborhood? What if a kid just walks up and runs up to you and gets hit? But like I was saying, Muller, the reason why is because he's not gifted with pace, nor is he gifted with technical ability. So there's really he's gifted with technical ability in terms of when he needs to, he makes the right moves and decisions. But mostly, he's gifted with a football brain. He's the space interpreter for a reason. He's an astronaut. He's a researcher in space. So for me, Muller isn't going to decline because he's not so reliant on his physicality or anything that is, he's not relying on that. Your brain doesn't really slow down until, for football at least. Buffon was technically still playing at a very high level, way into his 30s. This guy is still at Juventus, isn't he? I mean, he's not playing at all, but he's still there. And I think that Muller is going to have a similar path where he's going to be at the top level. Muller was, almost touted to leave this season, and I thought he was going to get sold in January back when he wasn't playing. Was it November or October? No. It was when around the time Nico got sacked, where Muller wasn't really in the form he is now, where Hansi hadn't come in. Muller was touted to leave by so many sources. There was things like he was talking to the club to want to leave, right? And then he signed a contract. But if Muller left in January, Muller's not going to Wolfsburg. He's not going to Frankfurt. He's not going to Bayer Leverkusen even no disrespect to Bayer Leverkusen. This guy is going to go to Barcelona, Real Madrid, Juventus. As much as it sounds ludicrous to people, Muller is that player. He's been linked to every single club that's big for a long time. Even clubs that aren't even in for him, he's linked with them because he's a player that attracts attention. Not only that, Muller has a following. He has a following, so he would sell shirts. People don't realize that. Thomas Muller is actually very popular in terms of just overall as a footballer. People know about Muller. People actually care about him, his life outside. They think go on any comment section for football in general and type who's the funniest footballer. They'll say Muller. One person out of two would say Muller. Half of the people would say Thomas Muller. So he has that brand that people want. So he would go somewhere huge. And for me, keeping Muller was a right decision because it's cheaper than getting Havertz. Muller staying fit and playing at the top level for 3 more years is better than Kai Havertz coming in for 100 million. That's personally why I think we don't need Havertz. That's why I think the transfer, it just doesn't make any sense. But if the club think, yeah, that's a right decision, I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it if Havertz comes in as the German star that Hassan Salamander was talking about. I don't mind it, right? I don't mind it, but as long as he comes in, and he's not going to be Muller's replacement, because we all know he's going to sit on the bench. I mean, I'm glad that he's at a club like Leverkusen with the great structure that they have. I mean, they beat us twice, I think, in the last 2 years. Leverkusen beat us last season, didn't they? Yeah, under Kovac. They beat us at least once, and this season they've already beaten us. But, okay, my chair is crying, but, for me personally, I just think that it's a great transfer to make when you don't have anyone in the position, because he's not coming in on the bench like I've said a billion times. He's gonna want to start the games. He's gonna want to play every single minute, and that's what I would want in him, to be that ambitious, because really this guy is linked to Barcelona and Real Madrid and Man United and Liverpool. He can go to the biggest clubs. We're one of the biggest clubs, but he can go anywhere else he wants. He doesn't have to come to us. It's not a situation where he's so overly focused on Bayern. What if he's thinking to himself, hey, Toni Kroos, German midfielder, not really my position, but played midfield for Germany, won a World Cup. He moved to Real Madrid. What if that's what might be going through his head? He might be thinking about other German players that have done so well abroad. He might want to join them, and go to Real Madrid. Real Madrid don't have an attacking midfielder right now, apart from Isco and James. They don't really have that. I mean, they play a 4-3-3, so I guess they probably wouldn't need Havertz. But still, Real Madrid always buy players for no reason sometimes, and eventually they'll end up fitting into the team somehow. I think we should do the same thing to every player we're linked to. It doesn't matter where you think they're gonna play, just fit them in somehow. I think, when you have a team with Havertz, Sané, Gnabry, Lewandowski, you're not playing the game fairly. You're not being, completely fair. So for me, Kai Havertz is going to have to come in. We're going to have to sign Kai Havertz. If we're going on that path of we want to sign the German international. The thing with Bayern is we've always had the best German players, and then we've always had some of the greatest, or some of the best foreign players. Right, that you've noticed, we've had the Mandzukics. People don't really rate Mario Mandzukic, but he was a real baller, man. Mandzukic was an actual player. We've had the Van Bommels, right? We've had the foreign players, like some of the best foreign players in the world, and then we've had the greatest German players, and that's how we always operate. We do sign the Germans. So for me, Havertz would just be, the younger Thomas Muller. But the thing is, we already have the Thomas Muller, who's still playing like he's 29. This guy has been 29 his whole life. I saw a picture of Muller when he was like 17 or 18. this fool looked the exact same as he does now, except he had a different haircut. I don't know. Muller for me is just gonna stay on the top level, and for me, if you're telling me that Havertz is coming in ahead of Muller, most people will go, wow, Havertz, he's 20, but Muller's like, wow, I'm playing like wine. I'm aging like fine wine. I feel like Muller's gotten better, after he's gotten better after playing crap for, not crap. He wasn't even playing. He was just, different managers tried to force him out. Thank goodness we had Louis van Gaal, who gave Muller his opportunity. I don't know, Louis van Gaal, thank you. You've given so many players opportunities. But seriously, man, I mean, Muller's won a Champions League with us. That's crazy to think about. Thomas Muller's won the World Cup. He's done everything you can, except win the Ballon d'Or. He's won the UEFA Super Cup. He's won the most important trophies. He has a real CV on him. So Havertz is gonna have to just play like Kylian Mbappe on steroids, So for me, yeah, if Havertz is the German Mbappe, and we should have the German Mbappe, then I don't see why not. But if it's a place where we're trying to replace Muller, it doesn't make any sense, I don't know, unless we convert Havertz to a striker or something like that. I feel like he could play striker. He has the intelligence and finishing to do so. He could play striker or in a 4-4-2. I don't know, but yeah. So this Havertz story for me is, slowly looking like it's probably most likely going to happen. And hopefully everyone likes the graphics. This is the second time I'm using it. It looks nice to me, but it kind of means I can't just move this way. I can't, because I have to face the camera, which is good because it forces me to look into the camera and look in the area I'm filming in. I'm looking at myself a lot, which is weird because I should be looking at you. You're more important than anything else in the world. You're the greatest fan ever. You're fantastic. But yeah, I mean, but another thing is Kai Havertz hasn't really done a Werner where he's twerked for us, which I like, because it means that he's not like so determined to come here that he's gonna risk his basic integrity. Werner's ruined himself by basically saying, I want to join Bayern. I see myself at Bayern. I mean, he didn't say all that, but legit, Werner twerked for us. And then when it came down to it, when we rejected him, the guy went outside and said, I didn't want to come to... Werner's like that kid, man. It's like when a guy gets rejected by a girl. Well, you're crap anyways. You're freaking ugly. See, it's the same situation. I just think that, that's the same thing. I think it's the same situation with Werner, man. But Havertz, he's looking mature. He looks like a kid. He's like, I'm open to a move outside of Leverkusen. He said it. I think he said it publicly. He's looking for his next challenge, as players always like to say. And then it depends where he sees himself, where we see him. Do you see him at Bayern Munich? Because I certainly do, as much as our club is linked to him, as much as I've said that we don't really need him. I'm not going to sit here going, oh my God, we signed Havertz. I'm going to be ecstatic if we sign this guy, because we all know he's a real baller. We know how good he is. We know how good he can be. So I'm gonna be ecstatic still if we signed him. So yeah, I mean, that's it for the video. I really enjoyed this. Let me know your thoughts on Kai Havertz in the comments. I'd like to know where everyone stands on that. There's a lot of people that might be like, you know what, Muller's crap. I want Havertz. And you know what? Look, it's your opinion. I think it's a stupid opinion. If there's some people who are like, Havertz can stay on the bench. There's different opinions. Football is all about opinion. And if we didn't have different opinions, everyone would think, Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo or this player is the greatest of all time if no one had different opinions. It was weird because if some people didn't have different opinions of football, you wouldn't get the football we see now. You wouldn't see, if Jurgen Klopp never decided, you know what, I don't see football as just, heading the ball around and, not, just passing around. He was like, I see football as a high intensity game. And guess what? He implemented it, and Liverpool are what they are now. Dortmund were what they were. If you didn't have different opinions in football, you wouldn't have I criticize Pep Guardiola a lot. You wouldn't have Pep because you wouldn't see football as the way he did. You wouldn't have Johan Cruyff if there weren't different opinions in football. You wouldn't have some of the greatest managers we've all seen without different opinions in football. And I think that opinions are what make this sport what it is. The NFL, they're not as passionate about their opinions as we are. NFL fans could care less what their opinion, who disagrees with them, or who has the reasoning. You know, so yeah, I'm just thankful that I have the community I do. You know, the Bayern community to disagree and also to see different opinions, because it makes sense to me. You know, and some people's opinions are stupid, and I genuinely think they're the stupidest things I've ever heard. But some people's opinions are like, damn, I didn't think of it like that. But yeah, that's it for the video. Havertz is 6'2". I'm just gonna say that. Thank you ever so much for watching. Mia san mia and peace. I'm trying to end it on 20 seconds. Now it's 20 seconds and 3 seconds. I need to end it now.